Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode thing that we do called Let's Talk About Networking. Good afternoon, just turned this afternoon, and welcome. Hopefully you're all enjoying the sunshine. If you're watching this on repeat and it's raining, well, there we go. We're joined this afternoon by Pam. Pam, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Liam. Nice
How
to see
is
you.
life treating you? And thank you. Well, thanks. How's life treating you?
Life's treating me very well. I can't complain. Yes, family are fine. The sun's out. We're melting, but that's not a complaint. We're not allowed to complain. But yeah, business is good.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you spending 20 minutes with me this afternoon just to learn a little bit more about you. I mean, I'll be quite frank, a little bit of this is selfish from a point of view of kind of talking about networking from my point of view, and also giving your business a little bit of more exposure across the region. So if you have any questions, then for Pam, if you're watching this, then put them in the chat and we'll see if we can get around to them. So Pam, let's start right back at the beginning. You are a brilliant solicitor from all I've heard. So take us right back to the beginning. Did you wake up one day and go, that's the only thing I want to be? You know, when you were 16, 17, 18, where did it start for you?
No, it didn't quite start like that. I had ideas about, oh gosh, being an actress, being a dancer, but it was by no means good enough probably to do either of those. But I always worked from an early age, back in the days when you could get a Saturday job at 14 and things like that. It was much easier then. So I've always worked, and it's by working in different places that I've kind of found my way. And that's what I always say to sort of younger people, you know, try anything. It doesn't matter where, because you'll soon learn what you like and what you don't like. You meet people, you make contacts, and they form your decisions. So I really started in the civil service, notably in the employment tribunal system, which is our court, because I'm an employment law specialist. Then I moved to ACAS, which was more employment law, advising. But during my time, I studied part-time for my law degree because I'd got an interest, and I thought, hang on, this seems to suit me. I like this personality, it'll get my brain working, which certainly does. And I studied part-time, eventually qualified, and again, through contacts, I was able to join a law firm and finish my training.
Love that.
Yeah, so I kind of left the majority of the civil service for the professional life, but no regrets at all.
None at all. What's your favourite part of it then? You know, really you think, oh, that's the bit that I really enjoy, and you're not allowed to say everything. So what's the bit that you really, really think that's really what I enjoy about what I do?
I like the problem solving.
Okay.
So I get a lot of worried people contacting me, and it could be the business owner or it could be the employee who's in a muddle. They've got great friends and family sort of telling them what they should be doing and how they should be acting, which is often very different from a legal perspective.
Yeah.
So when people ring me, whilst I'm hopefully friendly and approachable, my job is to give them a legal perspective, even if that sometimes means delivering kind of a tough message, you know. But with employers, it's more about problem solving, in that there's an issue clearly with an employee, and I have to make sure that after finding out what the employer wants to achieve, how we go about doing that. Making sure we're complying with the law and being fair to the employee.
Very good.
Employment law does try to strike that balance between fairness on both sides.
Very good. And what does is there a kind of a typical case? I'm assuming you're going to say no. Every case is different, or is there one particular sort of case that's come across your desk in the last couple of years? You know, what does a typical case look like for you?
Some cases are what we would consider routine. So for routine for me might be a straightforward unfair dismissal case. On the other extreme, it could be quite a complicated discrimination case. Employment law tends to move quite quickly. So for us to really have this was pre-COVID kind of comparison.
Yeah.
Got backlogged now in the system, of course, but it's unusual for us to have a case that lasts more than a year, 2 years. But I did have one recently. Yeah, and it was a battle every step of the way. I was representing the former, no, she wasn't an employee actually, the employee on that occasion. And it was a battle. And you've just got to be tenacious, you've not got to give up, you've got to be dogged in trying to get what you want, because you've got to do the best for your clients. And it was a good result in the end.
Very good. So I suppose I've got two questions in one next, leading on from that. And we've mentioned the C word, and the new C word is COVID rather than Christmas now. So the C word, 16, 17 months ago now, you were trotting along quite nicely. February, just after Christmas, everything was, doing all right. And then March the 23rd came around. First part of the question is, what were your thoughts at that time from a business owner's point of view? And second part to that question is, how has it changed your working life in the last 16 months?
Well, on the 23rd of March, the first question was, what the heck is furlough?
Yeah, I bet.
It was sort of, sorry, what did the counsellor say? It was sort of texting, what is this?
Yeah.
I think my husband said it was some kind of horse racing term, I think.
Yes,
but
it
anyway,
is.
Completely.
Well, nearly, yeah.
Nearly. But yeah, how it relates. It was just a collective, sharp intake of breath. Personally, in my business, the team obviously started working from home, as did I. Because thinking back then, we did view it as a very strict lockdown.
Yes.
At that point. So even though we have an office, and yes, we could have spread out, we kind of, I feel, took it seriously, as we should have done. So yeah, we were all sort of working remotely, which isn't great, because we're a kind of business where bouncing ideas and experience is good. It was extremely busy.
Really?
Because of course there was a huge impact on work, yes, on people's work. People were trying to understand furlough. And again, it depends how involved you were at the time, but the way furlough worked, for example, was very much drip fed to us.
Right, okay.
On a weekly basis. And of course, if nobody else knows, it's assumed the lawyers know, but we're all reading the same stuff and getting the updates at the same. So it was a very strange experience. But all the while, normal things were happening, because lots of businesses, I don't think it gets as much, but just carrying on. So we did have the normal work coming through as well.
Very good.
Facilities, but we managed and we adapted. We just had to, from, we've got a great scanner in the office, but I had to install one on the iPad for scanning documents, just simple things like that. But everyone adapted because we had to.
Lovely. So how has it affected the way that your business is going to operate in the future, both in a positive and negative way? Have you thought, well, actually we can operate our business maybe even more flexibly, or the type of clients that you bring on? How has it impacted going forward?
I missed a little bit of your question. I think kind of you want to just repeat it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, of course. I think our internet connection between us is slightly dodgy. But how is it impacting your business in the future? Are you viewing the way that your business looks in the future because of this flexibility and everything that's happened?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're very optimistic going forward, because the good thing about my job is that I see into other businesses, and I see people exiting businesses who are very optimistic about getting their next job. I don't. I know I do know there are worries out there. I'm not suggesting there isn't, but there is certainly a lot of optimism as well. So it was great when everyone came back into the office. I think business in general will do well. They've cut their cloth over the last 15 months or so. But touch wood.
Very good.
Business should be fine. Yes, absolutely.
Very
But you've got
good.
to keep the pipeline going, which kind of connects with BNI. You can't
Well,
be
yeah.
forever.
So that very nicely leads you on to really let's talk about networking. So so take us back again. Then take us back. How were you kind of introduced to networking? And I'm not just talking about BNI, which is kind of my choice of networking. But how were you introduced to it? And then how did you come across kind of your chapter? And what was the story behind that?
Well, as I'd worked my way up. Worked in different firms, worked my way up in the profession. I'd kind of learned what worked and what didn't work. I always say it's very nice to get a nice glossy photo of you in a nice magazine. Does it bring you business? Probably not. So I had a good idea when I set up my business where my time and money was going to go, first of all. So I did what everyone does, get out there, any sort of networking events, because frankly I didn't have any clients at the time. I had to get out there. It was a blank piece of paper. A friend introduced me to another solicitor, a very established solicitor, who sort of shoved a piece of paper in front of me and said, well, I'm not interested in that, but you might want to go. And of course it was a BNI, a core group BNI meeting. So I made the call and said, what time? But I did, but I went, and it just completely made sense to me.
Right.
Because I was, for all the reasons I've said, in the law, when you work for anybody really, when you get busy and you've got targets to meet and clients to respond to, networking goes out of the window. And then you think,
I can see that.
Oh gosh, it's quiet now, I better do something. And the partner sends you out to do things. So I always knew that you've got to keep that going. So my view was, it made complete sense about doing it regularly, being prepared, being accountable, getting to know people getting to know your message. And I thought at the time, when I do get busy, if I do nothing else, I'll be doing that. And that was my attitude. And that was 10 years ago. So
10 years. I was going to say, so you've been part of BNI Royal 10 full years now. Wow.
Yeah, I think we're in our 10th year. Yeah.
Incredible. Well, I've got a message in here from Diane, who's saying, what does Pam love most about BNI Royal apart from me?
Yes, Diane is hard to beat. I do like the mix of people and the mix of businesses. I'm not just saying this because it is my group, but they are a really, really good group of people. And I think, especially in my job, it makes me feel I've got my ear to the ground with what's happening in the trades. For example, now they're struggling to get supplies. So I know that when I'm talking to other businesses. I know what's kind of current in the webby world and social media because I tune in. So it's great for collecting information and being aware. So I like the people. The camaraderie over the last 15 months in particular has been great. We've really pulled together. Our 2 pandemic presidents have been really strict, but in a good way.
Great,
so we've kept it very professional. And I personally like that. I think that's what we're here for.
Yeah, very good. So I suppose coming to the conclusion
of
Diane,
things that I like about BNI.
Brilliant. Sorry, I may have overtalked you there just because of the connection. But coming to the conclusion then of our discussions, there may be people watching this going, well, it's all right for you, Pam. It's all right for you, Liam. You've been in kind of networking for years, and you know it all. There'll be people watching this who are going, I want to expand my business. I want to do more. I want more customers. I want more of the right kind of customers. What's your top tip about potentially getting involved? What's the top tip about going networking? What should people be doing?
Well, my view is there are very few businesses where there's not kind of a budget either on money or time. You have to think very carefully, especially when you're setting up a business. Where do I spend this sometimes quite small pot of money?
Yeah.
Now, you can fool yourself and go out and about and, pretend that you're networking. My advice is take it seriously, get a system, commit to it, and throw yourself into it. So I am in BNI. I have been in BNI for years, and that's what that is about. That's where I put my energy. And if I do ever have those sort of moments when I think, oh gosh, I don't seem to have got a good referral for a while, well, I ask myself why. And maybe I'll say, right, well, actually, you've not had a one-to-one with somebody for a while. Get back to it. Take responsibility and make things happen. And the least you can do is turn up, be on time, because these are the basics we're all judged on.
Brilliant
advice. Take it seriously and throw yourself into it.
Brilliant advice. We've got one last ditch question that we've got about 30 seconds for from Louise. Can Pam show how well she works with fellow solicitors in her group? Louise loves how Royal does this so well. So if you can condense that into about 30 seconds, Pam, that'd be ace. Looks like we have lost Pam, which is always interesting, isn't it? So we've lost Pam. Hopefully she'll rejoin us in 30 seconds. I'm not sure where Pam's at. Internet connection was a little bit dodgy. So if you're watching this, there we are. We're coming towards the end of the interview. An unusual end to the interview. And I've just gone off screen now. So an unusual end to the interview, but we are where we are. Let me just change this about, and hopefully you can see my face better. There we go. So an unusual end, but we're going to finish with a video. Thanks very much to Pam for joining us, and we'll be back next week with another guest talking about their membership and talking a little bit about networking. See you all next week.
Hi, my name is Matt Jones from Kudos Exhibitions, and I'm pleased to share with you, our BNI community, our success story. BNI works. It's as simple as that. This certainly wasn't my view a few months ago, but let's have a look at this now and see what's changed. We are a stand builder. We would design, manufacture and install exhibition stands all around the UK and all around Europe. In February, this abruptly came to a halt. It was a massive shock. We went from turning over 6 figures per month to 0 overnight. We weren't sure whether we could survive this or not. We were one of the first industries to be hit by this pandemic, and we will probably be one of the last ones to recover. I've got a massive amount out of BNI over the year. I have built up a lot of great relationships, had some great evenings away on social events, but commercially this just didn't stack up. There was no way that I could stand in front of people every week and ask for referrals for something which didn't exist. After angling the screen on my computer to the best part of my house, sitting there in my shirt and my shorts and doing these Zoom meetings, I wondered, what on earth am I doing this for? Surely it's more productive to do work on the house, be out in the garden. After 2 weeks of sat at home, we soon got bored. We had to do something. We didn't want to waste the last 15 years of business and watch that dwindle away to nothing. We had the machinery, the skilled workforce, the drive to make something happen. We'd seen screens in supermarkets, in lots of different scenarios, and we had to come up with a solution what could keep the business ticking over, but also help the country. We set to work prototyping. We used offcuts of materials that we had around the factory. We spent weeks and weeks developing things to make sure that we could come up with a robust solution which would work as a physical product, but also a psychological product for the client. One of our main concerns was, how do we market this? We don't want people to think that we're an exhibition company just having a go at manufacturing screens. These were materials that we're used to dealing with. So we contacted someone within the group at BNI. We had a website built, we had some branding for the screens manufactured. All of this was done within our chapter within BNI. Our BNI family helped us launch this platform. We then went out to other chapters to help us on the SEO. This was to get us to page 1 on Google. Within a couple of days of the referral, we had someone within BNI signed up to us. It's because of all the members in BNI that have helped us get to where we are today. I'm constantly receiving great referrals from people, even the people filming this for me, BNI members. It's fantastic, guys. I would like to take this opportunity to thank not only my chapter, BNI Kudos, but also the wider community. Everyone has come together to help us at this pivotal point, and it's because of you, BNI, that we are where we are today. For those of you that don't know, we are VirusScreen, the UK's leading manufacturer of COVID-19 sneeze screens.